This is not another boring podcast. Mustafa through the police body cams. Judge Carol Weimer, you are under the microscope. Now, we're so busy with the Mustafa Al-Jazari file. We're so busy with local issues that we're missing out on what is going on the national level. And sometimes it's really difficult to make sense of what is really going on and what's coming out of the White House. I mean, you've got the National Guard deployed into D.C. You've got President Trump trying to deploy the National Guard everywhere else. And sometimes it's really difficult making sense of what is really going on. We just watched SNL make fun at the Attorney General, Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi was asked about the Epstein list and the release of the Epstein list. And I'll tell you, it makes you really angry watching our Attorney General turn the whole entire session into a joke. I mean, she didn't answer one single question. And the question is, why are they not releasing the Epstein list? I mean, I thought that's why we got President Trump into office, that we didn't like Biden, didn't like the Democrat, and Trump is here to get to the bottom of the deep state. What is the Epstein list? Who's on the Epstein list? I mean, the bottom line is, the reason they're not releasing the Epstein list is you have the Democrats and the Republican on the list. And the problem here, when you're talking about our government is being funded by a foreign country, that's a problem. Because you're talking about our government officials no longer making decisions for our country. They're making decisions on behalf of other countries. That's why the Epstein list should be released. That's why they're attempting to avoid the release of the Epstein list, because what you find is that our government is being funded by a foreign entity. And what you see around the country is nothing more than a deflection. Anything but the Epstein list. They want to talk about ICE. They're talking about the National Guard, releasing the National Guard into D.C., releasing the National Guard into other states. They're causing chaos. And they want everybody so distracted that you're not even asking about the Epstein list anymore. I watched a reporter ask Caroline, our White House speaker, and she's telling her that President Trump's interpretation and what he's talking about with Portland is completely inaccurate. I mean, he's talking about chaos. He's talking about deploying the National Guard, that there is and he's describing it as a war zone. And then Caroline Lovett tells her, you should go there and then ask me about Portland. As a matter of fact, what we're going to do, we're going to have honest reporter that were actually there, and they're going to tell us what they saw. Let's play a clip of what that reporter asked the White House speaker.
President Trump will end.
A federal judge over the week.
President Trump.
I spoke to the police chief of Portland last week. He said that the president's claims just don't match up with what's happening on the ground.
I would encourage you as a reporter to go on the ground and to take a look at it for yourself, because there's been many members of the press, not press in this room, but independent journalists, some of whom we'll be inviting to the White House very soon to share their stories, because they have been in the middle of these riots and they have witnessed the anarchy that is taking place night after night. It's on video. You should play it on your show. You have a great opportunity in prime time on CNN to show your audience. Yeah, but you're probably talking to partisan Democrat officials who are opposed to everything this president does. You should also ask the people who live in Portland. We've actually heard from many members of the community who have said that this is complete civil disobedience. It's a mess. It's been loud. It's been troubling for neighbors in the community who are just trying to live peacefully. And these people are not there to peacefully protest. They are there to cause mayhem and havoc.
So after this, what the White House did, they held a press conference and they brought in these individuals that are so-called reporters. And supposedly they went into Portland and they are going to tell us what is really going on in Portland. I mean, we're going to watch that press conference, and what's coming out of that press conference is disturbing. I mean, you can't tell me you're going to watch that press conference and not tell me they're making a joke out of the whole entire thing. I mean, they're flat out lying to everybody. There is one reporter would tell President Trump, I was there, I was attacked, they gave me a black eye, I chased after, I called the police. She said, I called the police. And I mean, she's 5 feet tall, about 100 pounds, and she said that someone attacked her. And specifically, she says someone, Mr. President, from Antifa, a terrorist organization, Mr. President, attacked me, gave me a black eye. I called the police, but those police officers are different kind of police officers. They're bad police officers. They didn't show up. So what I did, I chased after them. The person that attacked me, I chased after them. I held them down for 35 minutes. You're talking about a 5 feet, like a small lady, 5 feet tall, about 100 pounds, that she supposedly chased after someone that gave her a black eye. And then she called the police again. And she held her down for 35 minutes. Called the police. They still didn't show up. And then she says 20 Antifa members showed up to free her assailant. And then she went and stalked them and found out where they're coming from. And she said, Mr. President, they're coming from a warehouse and they're taking shifts. These are not protesters. They're Antifa members. I mean, lady, if you're going to lie to us, I mean, make it believable. You're about 5 feet tall, about 100 pounds, and supposedly you chased after someone that attacked you, gave you a black eye. What are we talking about? I mean, let's watch.
I spoke to the police chief of Portland.
Let's see, black eye reporter. I think that's, if we type that, that's going to come up. Black eye reporter, Portland.
Today, I am sitting here with a black eye and a concussion after being violently.
We gotta watch this again. She said, "Today I'm sitting here with a cock eye." Okay, listen.
Today, I am sitting here with a black eye and a concussion after being violently hit in the face with a metal pole while reporting outside the ICE facility just this past week. After the attack, I immediately went to three Portland police officers who refused to detain the suspect. I took the time to chase.
They refused to detain the suspect because in Portland, those police officers are not your average police officer. They're bad police officers, Mr. President.
Down the suspect in the streets, had her held for 35 minutes.
You're 5 feet tall, about 100 pounds. You held the person that gave you a black eye for 35 minutes. I'm really having a hard time believing that, but let's keep listening.
I was waiting for Portland police to come, and they never came. Then
They never came because they're bad police officer, Mr. President. We need you to deploy the National Guard to make sure those police officers do their job. What kind of bullshit is this?
that's what opened my eyes to what
How
this
could you open your eyes if you have a black eye?
group is actually doing. I watched 20 Antifa militants
Just don't open your eyes.
help my assault suspect
20 Antifa members helped the person that gave her a black eye. Okay, okay, here's the thing. Isn't she a reporter? She says that she's a reporter. Where is the video from that incident? Doesn't exist.
escape into an Antifa safe house that is 1 block away from the ICE facility.
An Antifa safe house.
And this safe house is where Antifa-affiliated protesters are conducting paramilitary operation.
Para-elementary operation. You mean paramilitary operation?
It's where they're arresting, they're showering, they're eating to continue this occupation. I have staked out this safe house and have observed shift changes. This group is highly organized. It is being funded through mutual aid groups, and they have no plans of stopping. Residents living across the ICE facility have been held hostage by Antifa. They're begging for federal intervention. The city refuses to help, and they want you, President Trump, to come in and restore law and order. Today, They
want you, Mr. President, to deploy the National Guard into Portland. And then when you listen to the rest of the press conference, you have another reporter that says, Mr. President, we found out who Antifa were. Antifa is the homeless community. What are you talking about? So now you're calling the homeless community, our vulnerable homeless community, Antifa? So you're just got a label, stuck it on a bunch of people, and now you want to go and do what exactly? Oh, you designated Antifa as a terrorist organization? What does that mean? Any protester, you're going to stick a label on them that if you don't agree with what they're protesting, you're going to call them terrorists? So what does that mean? The Patriot Act applies to them, so no due process. No one so they're no longer. You're no longer dealing with them as American citizen. So no due process. You can pretty much make them disappear. Interesting.